Welcome everyone to Easy to Follow Tai Chi. I'm Josie Delaney with Team Senior Planet. Today we're doing seated Tai Chi, and what this is the Tai Chi experience. It's not a class, not a lesson. And what that means is there's nothing to learn, nothing to remember, and nothing to memorize. Basically, just follow along and do what you see. And we use mirror image. So if I'm going like this, I'm just giving this as an example. If I do this, you'll do the same thing as if you were standing in front of a mirror. However, if I go this way and you go that way, it doesn't matter at all because in this Tai Chi experience, there's no right or left and there's no right or wrong. So the most important thing is that you always do what feels right for you and you move, breathe, and flow. Okay, we'll start off by just settling into our chair. If you want, rocking a little bit side to side, just connecting with the chair, feeling the chair, swaying. And now taking a moment for our feet to connect with the earth, wiggling our toes, the balls of our feet, our heels, sinking into the floor like we're sitting on a beach chair and feeling that warm sand, the bottoms of our feet, and feeling the warm sun shining on us. And our head is light like a helium balloon, gently tugging upward. And as it tugs upward, that helium balloon, everything softens. In Tai Chi, everything is soft and we move like nature. We move like the wind, like water, like tall grasses swaying in the breeze. So as the helium balloon tugs upward, everything softens. Our forehead, our eyes, our jaw, shoulders soften, and arms. It's okay to be a little playful because when you do Tai Chi, it's called playing Tai Chi. I love to say, thank you for coming to play with me today. And everything is soft. Our belly is soft. Just let our belly hang out. Hips, knees, soft, soft. And taking a moment to connect with our breath. If you want, you could put our hand below your belly button. And as we breathe in, our belly expands. And as we breathe out, our belly softens, coming back toward our spine. And on the next out breath, we're going to let out a little sound, a little sigh. And what that does is it deepens the relaxation response. So breathing in, like smelling a rose. Breathing out. Ah. Once more. Breathing in. Ah. And you can do that anytime you're feeling stress and tension. Just a few slow, deep breaths helps break that stress cycle. So let's begin with our warm up and just follow along. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. And if you are seated, I forgot to mention to sit toward the edge of the chair, not too close to the edge that you could fall off. But if you sit back too far, it will limit your range of motion and your movement. So sit comfortably toward the edge of the chair. So for the first one, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing and just follow along. The first one is loosening up the neck. The hands flow up to shoulder height, pressing the chin back. The hands drift out, and as they come down to our sides, our eyes follow the hands. Once more, floating up, pressing the chin back. Hands drift out and then down. And one more time, floating up, chin back, out, and then down. For the second neck warm up, the hands flow up, the palms pass each other. One hand comes to our lap, the other hand drifts back, and the eyes follow that top hand. And then the hands switch to the other side, following that top hand, and then turn And this is our second warm up for the neck. Other side, no forcing, no straining. 2 more, just gently, gently letting go. Next warm up is the shoulder rolls, rolling our shoulders. And other direction. And the next shoulder warm up is the hands flow up and then pressing down. Tai Chi arm circles. The next one is the spine, loosening up the spine. The palms are facing each other. The top hand presses down, bottom hand presses up, palm facing up. Then the hands switch. Again. Switch. 2 more. And last one. Now starting in the same position, palms facing each other, and now turning in the direction of whatever is your top hand, just as far as the knee. Then the hands switch position and glide to the other side. And then switch. Other side. And 2 more. And that's our second warm up for the spine. The next one, the hands flow up. And as the hands press back, one knee comes up a little bit, loosening up the hip joint. Hands float forward and then back, and the other knee comes up. Alternating knees. And we don't have to lift the knee very much, just loosening up the hips a little bit. 2 more. Very nice. The next hip exercise is the hands drift to the side, keeping our hands close, and then the opposite knee rolls out in the other direction. The hands glide to the other side, and the opposite knee rolls out. So it's very gentle and very small, but very beneficial for loosening up the hips. 2 more. Last one. And the next one is the knees. So soft fist and punch. Opposite foot lifts, kicking, pointing with the toes. Other hand punch, kick, leading with the toes. So being very focused and deliberate on loosening up our knees. 2 more. And continue kicking, but this time leading with the heel. Punch and kick. And last but not least is our ankles. So press the heel down and then the ball of the foot. So heel and ball, heel and ball. Other ankle, heel, ball, heel, ball, heel and ball. Back to the first ankle, now the outside of the foot, pinky toe to heel, and then inside of the foot, big toe to heel. And it doesn't matter if the whole edge of the foot touches or not, outside, inside, as long as you're getting that side to side motion with your ankle. Other ankle, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, and inside. And there we have our Tai Chi warm-up, just loosening up all the major joints of the body. So taking another moment to settle into the chair and just follow along. The hands flow up to shoulder height, the fingers drift towards center, and the elbows and the hands get heavy, coming down to our lap, circling up and around. This is called sinking the chi, gathering the life energy all around us, pulling it to our hearts, and back into the earth. And this next one, the hands float off the knees, floating up to shoulder height, and the heels come up. And as the hands melt down, the heels come down, floating up. This is called opening the door. The tide rolls in, the tide rolls out. And one more. Now the hands flow up, circling out. One hand glides down across our lap and the other hand drifts over it. As the hands open up, the heels come up. And as the hands switch places, the heels come down. Embracing the moon. Toss the moon and catch the moon. Now stepping to the corner with that bottom hand, the bottom hand floats up and the hands press forward. Footsteps in as we catch the moon again. Spin the moon and step. Again, this is called the fair lady works on her loom, weaving a beautiful, brightly colored tapestry. Now the wrists cross down low and the hands circle up, down and around as we gently rock back and forth. Princess in the Valley. And now the wrists cross up high and then circling down, up and around. Princess on the mountaintop, enjoying the scenery, the river winding in the valley, the smell of the pine trees. Now the hands come down, floating up overhead. Eyes follow the hands, pulling into the heart and push. Up, catch the moon and roll the moon. Watching the silvery moonlight fill up the night sky. Footsteps in, the hands circle out, and now embrace the moon on the other side. Footsteps to the corner, the bottom hand floats up and press. Stepping in, spin the moon and press. The fair lady works on her loom. One more. Now the wrists cross down low, the hands circle up, down and around, gently rocking forward and back. Princess in the Valley. And the eyes follow the hands as they flow up. And now reversing direction, crossing the wrists high, circling down, up and around. Princess on the mountaintop. Now the hands come down by our knee, floating up overhead. Eyes follow the hands, pulling into the heart and push. Up, catch the moon and roll the moon. And one more. Footsteps in, the hands circle out and sink the chi. Now the hands circle up, hugging a tree and then floating up overhead. Gentle stretch to one side. Breathing out and breathing in. Tipping to the other side. Tipping the moon. Up to center. Other side. Holding on to the moon, feel the moon in our hands as it tries to drift in its orbit and center, and one more tip to the other side. Holding on to the moon and don't let it go. And then back to center. The hands come down, circling up and around. Waterfall cascading into the river. Hands reverse direction, floating up. Now the backs of the hands touch as the hands flow up. Water fountain sparkling in the sunlight. Then our hands come to our sides, palms facing back. And as the palms turn forward, head turns to one side, looking over our shoulder. Palms turn back and the head comes to center. Palms forward and the head turns in the other direction, looking over our shoulder. Back to center and 2 more times, turning in the other direction. Back to center and 1 more. Wise owl turns his head. Back to center. Now the hands float up a little bit higher. Hand goes behind the back. Other hand to opposite shoulder, turning in that direction. And the eyes are looking over the shoulder. And then untwisting slowly. The other hand behind the back. Other hand to opposite shoulder. Eyes looking over the shoulder. This is called twisting dragon. Again, 2 more. Hand behind the back, hand to opposite shoulder, looking over the shoulder. And 1 more. Back to center. The feet step out a little bit wider. The hands reach down, scooping forward, up overhead, and then pulling down a column of air, reaching down. And how low do you go? Whatever feels right for you. The farmer digs in the garden. And now from the top, we're going to scoop forward, down, and then pulling up the column of air. Eyes following the hands up. Farmer gathers the harvest. This is good for hip flexibility, spine flexibility. The hands come down to our sides, crossing low at the wrist. One elbow pulls back, the other hand reaches out, making an L shape with our thumbs and index finger. The archer with the bow and arrow. Both hands glide to the other side. The other elbow pulls back. L shape with a thumb and index finger. That's where we're putting the arrow. Again, the hands glide down. Other elbow pulls back. Drawing the bow, release the arrow, and perfect bullseye. And 1 more. Hands glide to the other side. Draw the bow, release the arrow. Back to center and sink the chi. The hands flow up, circling out, and 1 hand drops down and then circles up. Moving from our belly button, moving from our core. And 1 more. Now the other one drops, circles down, up and around. And on the next one, the hands take turns. So one drops and circles up. Then the other one drops and circles up. So this is called wave hands like clouds. White puffy clouds drifting over the lake. One hand reaches out like holding a lantern, foot steps in and then steps to the corner, and that front hand continues to drift, gently rocking back and forth. And we're releasing butterflies from our fingertips and watching them flutter away. The foot steps in, release the lantern, and back to wave hands like clouds. Very nice. Holding the lantern on the other side, foot steps in and then steps to the corner, and the front hand drifts. Single whip. And one more. Release the lantern and back to wave hands like clouds. The hands circle out, coming to our sides, bending at the elbow, and now rounding forward, and the pinky edges touch. And then the elbows pulled back, opening up the chest, and the eyes look up a little bit. Rounding forward, elbows back, spinal cord breathing. And on this next one, rounding over one knee, over your thigh, elbows back as we come to center, over the other thigh, back to center, and two more. And our lungs know what to do. When we round forward, we're breathing out. As we open up our chest, open up our lungs, breathing in. And one more over the other thigh, and back to center. Spinal cord breathing. The hands open up, scooping down across our lap, and the hands rest in each other. The bottom hand floats out to the side, comes down the center, and rests in the other hand. The other hand floats out and down. This is called centering, bringing focus, clarity, tranquility, calm into our day. And one more. Feet step out a little wider again, palms facing down, reaching forward, then the hands turn out, and then scooping forward. Pebbles in the pond. Watching the ripples spread across the pond in the moonlight as we reach forward and then rock back. Now both hands together, palms down, circling over one knee, and then circling over the other knee. Making a figure eight with our hands. Water lilies floating on the pond, and feeling that cool water on our fingertips and how refreshing it feels. And one more. Feet come closer together, and then the hands float side to side, like the willow branches of a tree, the branches just skimming a pond. And one heel taps the floor. And the hands drift to the other side, and the other heel taps the floor. Drifting, and the heel taps, and the same side hand floats over the knee. Drifting, and the heel tap, and the hand floats over the knee. Drifting, heel tap, hand over the knee, and the other hand in front of the heart. Drifting, heel tap, hand over the knee, hand over the heart. Now this time, the foot steps in, the elbows pull back, and the hands circle around. Heel tap, hand over knee, hand in front of the heart. So we'll do that a few times. And this is called playing the pipa. It's a Chinese stringed instrument like a guitar, and we're plucking the strings. And one more. Now this time the hands circle around, and then the top hand hides behind her back or rests on the chair, and that front hand continues to drift, gently rocking back and forth like the prairie grass blowing in the breeze. Now the back hand joins in, and as the front hand drifts, the other hand comes to our lap, circling and drifting, parting the wild horse's mane, taking the tangles out of the mane, creating calm out of chaos. And one more. The elbows pull back, foot steps in, the hands circle around, and the other foot steps out. Now we're back to playing the pipa, playing the symphony of our lives, and we're all playing in harmony. Beautiful. Now the hands circle around, top hand hides behind her back or just rests on the chair, and the front hand drifts, gently rocking back and forth. The back hand joins in, and as the front hand drifts, the back hand drops to our lap, parting the wild horse's mane. One more. Foot steps in, the elbows pull back, circling around, and we'll do a few more, playing the pipa. Back to center, the hands flow up overhead, and then both hands together, circling down, up and around. This is called Chen circles. I think of it as sunrise and sunset. And then from the top, reversing direction, circling down, up and around, stretching, reaching, breathing, flowing. Now stepping to one corner, the hands circle out like hugging a tree, then the hands flow up, and then pressing down as we rock back, rocking forward, circling up, pressing down. Bathing breath, bathing ourselves in chi, life energy, vitality, feeling the air between our fingers. Foot steps in, and now the other foot steps out to the corner, hands circling up, pressing down. Bathing breath. The hands flow up, the palms face each other, and then they switch position, like we're holding a little snow globe in our hands and watching the little snowflakes and the sparkles just float around in the water. Now the bottom hand drops, reaches for the corner, glides past our ear, palm over palm, gliding, reaching. And now the other one drops, reaches, and glides over the other palm. And one more. And now this time the hands take turns. So one drops and glides over the other hand, then the other one drops and glides, repulsing the monkey. This has to do with monkey mind, a million things going on in our heads. And this helps clear our minds, clear all those racing thoughts, just brings clarity and calmness and focus. And now both hands glide to the side, footsteps in, and the knees come up and down. And the heels are coming up at the same time and down. And on this next one, as the heels come down, that front hand presses down. And then the other hand folds in. So press and fold, press and fold. Now stepping to the corner, the front hand brushes past the knee and the other hand presses forward. That front hand circles down, other hand circles over, brush knee and push. And one more. The footsteps in, the hands glide to the other side, and then paint a rainbow to the other side. Footsteps in, heels up and down, up. And then as the heels come down, that front hand presses, like we're playing with a beach ball, pressing it into the water, and feel it popping back up into our hands. And then the other hand folds in. So press and fold, all in perfect harmony. Now this next one, the footsteps to the corner, the front hand brushes past the knee and the other hand presses forward. The hands circle around, brush knee and push. And one more. Footsteps in, the hands circle around, sync the chi. And on this next one, the hands float up a little bit higher overhead, pressing down to our lap, bouncing up to our heart, and scoop that big silvery moon in front of us. And the hands flow up, down to our lap. And on this next one, making a diamond shape with our thumbs and index fingers, this is called opening the heart. Shine your light, beam your love and kindness to each other and to all living beings. The hands drop, floating up overhead, down to our lap, bouncing up to our heart, and scoop a big ball of chi, life energy and vitality. And then the hands circle up, pressing down. And one more, opening the heart, connecting with each other, connecting with all of life. Feet come together, and one more, syncing the chi. And on this last one, our palms come together, bringing our hands to our hearts. And I end with a gesture of respect and gratitude for sharing this time together. And may this flow and calm be with you the rest of the day. Thank you so much.